Hello, everyone. Welcome to BizChicks TV. This is the place where you can find tips and tools to help you do business better. We're here to help you run a profitable business that's fun to run and to take the hassle out of your hustle. And today we're here with Robin Shimizu and friends talking about happy, healthy habits. We're always excited when Robin's in the studio. It's so good to see you, Robin. And, and so, guys, I want you to sit back, relax. Let's figure out how to keep our health. And in turn, we'll be able to keep our wealth. So, with that, we're going to turn it over to Robin. Robin, what do you have for us today?
Well, I'm realizing August 31st, it's
Hmm.
already toward the end of summer.
Yes, we are
How
fast
did that
approaching.
happen? Well, I've been frustrated a little bit about, how I can be helpful. And one of the things that I was thinking would be helpful is for us to kind of break down in real simple terms how somebody gets going on a wellness journey, because sometimes it can be just so overwhelming. If you get like 10 things that you need to do to start a
Hmm.
wellness journey, it's like, "Ugh, I don't have time to listen to 10 things, let alone do them.
Yes.
So I found this really small, cute little article that I really resonated with me about how do you start a wellness journey? And they broke it down into three things, which makes a lot of sense.
Hmm.
Going to go over them real quickly before we bring on our guest, um, who is Lynnis Woods-Mullins this morning. So, yay, we got a great coach to continue this conversation. Um, they said the first thing is to just start getting physical activity in wherever you can get it in. So,
Okay.
stairs, instead of, consciously, intentionally walk, park your car out, walk to the store, take the stairs instead of the escalator. So just get those little physical activity things in your day as you can, and you just start putting that part of what you try to do every day for yourself, and look for those opportunities just to
Mm.
add a few extra steps. But don't pressure yourself to get in 10,000 steps a day type of thing, just get going basically and be more mindful
Ah,
more about being more physical. So, and I know you started using your pool,
yes, I did. I
no, your
started
hot
using
tub,
my hot tub.
and that
Yes.
was a really brilliant idea, getting into the hot water instead of the cold water and doing your exercise.
Because I think that was one of the things that was deterring me from just getting in the water.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I'm like that. I don't like cold water. Such a baby.
I am too. Like, oh no, not
Oh,
the cold water. Oh
and
my.
and so the second thing is they said set aside one grocery shopping day a week. So sit
Okay.
down and think about what it is you want to make for that week, and really make a grocery list and do your
Uh-huh.
grocery shopping. Really intentional. So you're going to make, X, Y, and Z for the week, and then you have your food and it's healthier, right? And so
Hmm.
and part of that is and make healthy meals that you can freeze and eat later, so that you don't have if you don't have time to cook, you can pull those healthy meals out of the freezer. Those were the tips, the three tips, just to get going. Get more physical and get be more mindful of what you're eating. That's simple.
Okay.
But it takes work, right? You got to cook,
Exactly.
and you got to do things. And so I figure that's a lot of work just in itself. Just doing your grocery list and doing your own cooking and eating more healthily. That's a huge step forward.
Wow. Well,
So,
I am getting updates from Lynnis. She's saying that she's having difficulty with her computer. So you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna mute myself and call her and see if we can bring her in over the phone.
okay.
Okay? So just a moment.
Hi, this is Lynnis.
Her phone is on Do Not Disturb. Oh, there she is. Okay. We are focusing in. Okay, there we go. Let's see if we. There she is. Okay. Hi, Lynnis. How are you? Do we have audio? Okay,
I
let me.
think she's frozen.
Yes, she is. Let's see. Let's try calling her again. See if it goes to voicemail.
Hi, this is Lynnis.
Okay, so let me put a graphic up and let her know we're calling her. This live is so much fun, isn't it? We are calling you on the phone.
You know, Francine used to have us clear out all of our cookies and all of our history. Maybe she's having trouble because she's got too much stuff running.
Or she's running an update. She says it'll be about 10 minutes.
Mm.
So we can have a talk. I think her topic was pockets of peace. And so let's just talk a little bit about what would that consist of. Happy Thursday, Janice. Janice is here. Janice Jordan is here.
Yay,
Um,
Janice.
I think in our lives, sometimes we have to create pockets of peace. I would call them little spaces. And I remember when we talked to one of our guests, she talked about the fact that she has created a space in her home where she goes for tranquility, where she goes to relax and to have peace. And so let's talk about this topic from this perspective and see what Lynnis adds when she comes into the studio. So, my question is to you, Robin, and to our listeners and those watching on the replay, what is your place of peace?
Mm.
Where do you go when you just want to settle your mind?
You want me to answer that?
Yes.
I have two places.
Oh, great. Can
One
you
is
tell
my
us
bed.
about them?
Huh?
Huh?
One is my bed.
Ah, okay.
I have it. I have these big furry pillows and a furry quilt, and it's just so nice and cozy. And even when it's warm, like in the summertime, it still feels so. I just love it. I think I don't know. I just like that texture. And the other place I love to be, and I just that's where I meditate. That's where I
Oh,
read.
okay.
That's where I'll journal. That's where it's kind of like my office is my bed.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
It's
don't.
relaxing.
It's relaxing. And then I have a little tiny backyard
Uh-huh.
that's quite lovely, green and lots of flowers and stuff like that. And I'll go sit out there. But yeah, that's where I find some, and I try to catch some rays out there, little sun rays.
Yes, get some vitamin D.
Hmm. Yeah. So for me right now, those are my pockets of peace. How about you?
You know something? I have created several pockets of peace over the last few weeks, well, couple of months. One is my garage. I
Mhm.
turned it into a space where I could go if the house is crowded because
Mhm.
I have multiple grandchildren and they are at several different ages from 3 to 17.
Yeah.
So, there's always movement. A lot of movement when they come. Uh,
Even one at a time.
yes, because the one grandson plays the drums.
Oh,
And so he brings his drums or his drum practice pad with him, but nevertheless, there's this going on, you know?
it's
And
not
so,
peaceful.
because I have created that space, turned it from a parking space
Mhm.
to a place where people can retreat. There's a TV there,
Mm.
there are rugs out there and furniture so that they can sit down, or I can sit down.
It's like a playroom or like an
It's
extra conference
like,
room as they used
yes,
to.
like a, you know what Starbucks calls a third space. They
Ah,
consider themselves a third space for your family.
uh-huh.
In other words, a place where you'll meet, etc. Um, so yeah, I created that third space, and it's multi-generational because that's where I put the toys. I took them out of my living room and put them into um, that space. So I see Lynnis is in the studio. Let's see if we can bring her up. Hold on. Lynnis, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear me?
Absolutely.
Yay!
Yes.
Yeah.
We're doing some work on the internet in my area, so
Don't you
I'm
just love that?
Mm.
yeah, they didn't tell us, so hopefully it won't go back down. Right now, I'm operating off a hotspot on another phone, so we'll see how it goes.
Good for you. Great.
Yes.
Thank you, Linus.
Sure, no problem.
Okay. It's our understanding that you were going to talk to us about pockets of peace. Is that correct?
Yes, I did. The reason why I wanted to talk about that is that peace is such a fundamental necessity for us to enter into full wellness. And so many times we don't experience peace because of all the other distractions in our lives. Most
Mm,
people think that when they think of peace, you have to sit down and be quiet, and sometimes it's difficult for people to do that. It's difficult for people to unwind enough to be still and to be quiet. But it's something that should be an A1 priority. Establishing our inner peace is almost as important as breathing. Without that sense of peace, you never get a chance to process emotions, to work through things that have happened during the course of the day. And over time, it begins to eat away at our overall emotional wellness. So it's really important to do some things to establish peace. And without peace, it's difficult for us to focus on our goals. It's
mm,
difficult to avoid bad habits because bad habits are the results of negative behaviors that usually come up because of our inability to confront our problems and obstacles. But if we practice peace, a lot of times we're able to work through some of those things that have been bothering us or, picking at us. If we don't, over time, we can pick up some bad habits that aren't good for us to try to
mm,
cover those feelings up.
Mm.
Peace is really one way to establish a sense of joy, regardless of what you're going through in the course of the day. People think, well, it's happiness, joy. What's the difference? Happiness is a fleeting emotion, just
mm,
like
mhm,
anger might be or sadness. But joy is something that doesn't have to be fleeting. You can have joy every day, regardless of what's going on, regardless of your outer circumstances. Many times, happiness is impacted by our outer circumstances. Joy isn't. Another reason that it's important to establish peace is it does help to reduce stress. And
mhm,
basically, stress is pressure from external stimuli, whatever that is. And it should really come as no surprise that over time, as we talked about before, stress can cause chronic diseases and illnesses. And many times, those chronic diseases and illnesses can cause more stress. And so you
mm,
just get into this spiral. So I wanted to talk about some of the keys to finding inner peace, some tools that might be helpful, some things to think about that might be helpful when finding inner peace. Um, you first want to learn to listen to yourself, listen to
mm,
your body. Aligning your core values and beliefs with your actions is a great way to establish a compass on how you invest your time and energy every day. And when you're talking about your core values, the things that are important to you, the things that you live by, the things that you measure um, your morality by. It's
mm,
very simple. If something doesn't feel right, then don't do it. Stay away from things that drain your energy, and just go along with your stand, that what you stand for and believe in. And that's one step towards beginning the ability to feel a sense of peace is by listening to yourself. The other thing is take away criticism out of your life.
mhm,
Criticizing yourself but also criticizing others, because it's really kind of a waste of time and energy to criticize other, and it reveals a lot more about us than it does them. And I don't know how effective it really is. We tend to be our own worst enemies when it comes to criticism. So we're constantly criticizing ourselves and punishing ourselves and all those things that we think that aren't good about ourselves. But
Mm-hmm.
instead, we need to be kind to ourselves, kind to each other, extend kindness to people the way you would like to have kindness extended to you. And, realize that you'll make mistakes. Things happen. And it's an opportunity to grow. Nobody's perfect. And once we stop being so self-critical and stop, criticizing others as much, then we learn more about finding that peace. It's easier to find more peace because you don't have that inner critic all the time,
Mm.
breaking you down, or that outer critic breaking everybody else down. Negativity is not doesn't lead you to peace.
Wow.
It leads you away from
Say
peace.
that.
Yes, that's right. Um, Another thing you want to, do as a key to peace is start meditation or reflecting. I like the word reflecting because sometimes meditation scares people, but
Mm-hmm.
you want to be just taking time to reflect on where you are in the moment in time. Staying present. Finding ways to stay present, positive ways to stay present. Meditation is really based on an idea that you can cultivate more positive and a calm state of mind through a series of techniques that help improve your emotional positivity. It really isn't a woo-woo thing. It's just another form of taking peace. So, and there's different kinds of meditation. So whether you call it meditation or reflecting, just stopping and thinking and listening is another way to listen to yourself, another way to find out what's going on with your body. But taking that time to figure out what works for you for a meditation practice or reflection practice, and then do it. Actually, do it. Walking in nature can be meditative.
Ah.
Gardening can be meditative. Journaling can be meditative.
Mm-hmm.
These are all adult coloring can be meditative.
Mm-hmm.
Painting can be meditative. These are all opportunities for us to focus on something else outside of our own thoughts and emotions. When you're meditating and when you're doing an action, focusing on that action, it takes you out of the other stuff that can distract you from being able to establish peace. So if you can establish a meditative practice, that's really great when it comes to moving towards, having more peace. Without a doubt, um, inner peace simply makes you a better person overall. So, doing things for others, um, what's it, random acts of kindness brings you a sense of joy, brings that other person a sense of joy, and it changes the energy. So, doing something for someone else over time can help you achieve more peace because you have a feeling of goodwill, a feeling of self love, a feeling good about yourself. It's hard to establish peace if you don't feel good about yourself. And then you want to take a look at the power of forgiveness. Feeling hate,
Mm-hmm.
regret, grudges towards other people and yourself is useless, and it's negative again, and that contributes to your feeling more stressed and unhappy.
Wow. Well, we
Forgiveness
have.
is probably the greatest gift that you can give yourself and others, mainly because it will help you to get rid of those unnecessary stresses of your life and help you to move towards being able to have some peace. So, those are my suggestions in terms of establishing peace. I try to work on them every day. I'm a work in progress like everybody else. Some days I
Mm-hmm.
can do it, and other days I can't. But if you can, find a way to listen to your body, take away the criticism in your life, both outer criticism and inner criticism. Start more meditations and reflection exercises. Do kind things for each other, and practice forgiveness. Those are all ways that you can have more peace in your life and begin to have those pockets of peace. And the reason why I call it pockets of peace is because there are, for instance, areas in your home that are pockets of peace that you may never have really thought of before. Maybe it's a corner in a chair where you can sit and be comfortable, or maybe it's your actual bed or somewhere in your backyard or your front yard. You have pockets of peace everywhere. So when you are working on establishing inner peace, identify those pockets of peace also, where you can begin to go and practice some of these things. Practice. Not criticizing yourself. Practice listening to yourself. Practice being kind and self-compassionate to yourself and others, and do it. In your peace spot, wherever that is, wherever that little pocket is. It's great if people can have, prayer rooms. This is my prayer room in my office. That's fantastic. But sometimes people don't have the ability to set aside a whole room. But you can have pockets of peace in little corners and areas of your home, and you can fix it up in such a way where your special chair is there, your incense or your oil is there. Maybe there's a plant that's there, a picture of something, or a favorite quote, a framed quote or something, so that when you see that pocket of peace, you're like, oh yes, let me sit down and reflect for a minute. If it's outside, maybe it's a corner where the morning light comes in, or where you get a chance to see the moon rise or the sun go down or the sunrise. Those areas of your property or yard or your home, which kind of reminds you of peace. There's an area in my home, for instance, outside of my room, where the morning light comes in, and I have this velvet chair that is angled in such a way that in the morning it just looks like you want to go and just sit down and close your eyes and let the morning sun minister to you. That's the beginning. Finding those pockets of peace is the beginning of ushering in a more peace-like nature and making peace a priority in your life.
Well, Lynnis, we have some comments here from Carlos. Carlos is in New York City, but he says, as an entrepreneur, I've had my father pass away, have my children leave to go to college. My mother has had painful knee surgery after they blundered the first surgery. He went to Atlanta to get his possessions after a divorce that made him homeless. Letting it all go is what allows me to move forward. And then he comes with another comment. He says, many think that, and I think you touched on this, many think that happiness is a goal. You said it's not. You said the goal is joy, right? But that will always disappoint. Happiness is temporary emotional states for the moment you're in. Consistency of peace is the goal.
That's true. That's true. And I would say something else too, in terms of establishing peace, is to
Mm-hmm.
learn to focus on what's working. We can enumerate, all the negative things that have happened. And it's not that you discount them, not that you don't recognize them or are in
Yes.
denial of them, but you can also focus on what's working. And I guarantee you, there are more things working for you than not. And I guess it depends on how you weight them. But I think just being alive, that's working. That's a huge thing.
It's
You
another
know, that's a
opportunity.
huge thing. If you can't point to anything else, you are alive. You may not be feeling well. You may be homeless, but you're alive. And as long as you're alive, you have an opportunity to change those things around. I find that focusing on what's working over time, you begin to have more and more things to focus on that are working because you've changed your mindset. Peace is a mindset, and getting there to inner peace and achieving peace, probably the very first thing you want to think about is beginning to change your mindset. And so focus on what's working is probably one of the first keys to inner peace, I would believe. And I didn't say that earlier, but I was going to say it towards the end, because sometimes some of the things I said just sound impossible because there is so many, things going on. And there's one other thing that I
Mm-hmm.
think is really important. You got to change your story. People repeat the same stories all the time of what's happened to them, how it happened, why it happened, what they did when it happened. And this is all rooted in the past. And it's not that you're in denial that it didn't happen. But if you really want to achieve inner peace, you've got to let that story go. It happened. It impacted you. It was a horrible time. But now let's get present and focus on what's working. Change your story. I had to learn to change my story, and sometimes I still kind of fall into it, because it's part of my story when I talk about why I came to do what I
Mhm.
do. But I might talk about it that way, but I no longer talk about it anymore in terms of my family. And I mean, everybody knows my mom died. Okay, everybody knows that. Everybody knows how she died. So renumerating that and going through that tragedy over and over again keeps me rooted in the past and on something that wasn't working.
Mhm.
But instead, I'm like, yes, that happened. But what's working is that it brought me to what I do today. And
Yes.
so I rather focus on that. It's not an easy thing to do, but it's
Mhm.
absolutely doable. And you do feel better. If you can't change your story, change how you tell your story.
Yes. And
There's
I think,
always,
go ahead.
I was just going to say, there's always a positive side in terms of how you can communicate your story.
And I think Carlos is touching on that in his next comment. He says, being in a peaceful state amongst the chaos is what opened the doors to more opportunities. Seems people trust those who can control their state regardless of what is occurring in life because they can see when you dwell. It's a skill.
Yes, he is so right. I mean, I guess I could have fallen into chaos when nothing seemed to be working. But we're also in Venus retrograde, and you do want to take a look at what's going on around you and what could be causing certain things, and do what you can to either change that, and or either be aware of it and get the tools to help you deal with it. Now, Venus being in retrograde is an awareness, and so it keeps me from being frustrated when glitches start happening. We're going to be in retrograde until September 14th, and there's all kinds of things that they advise you to do or not to do during retrograde. Retrograde doesn't have to be a negative thing. There's a lot of positive energy that can be, a lot of energy, period, that is going on with retrograde. But when those things happen in retrograde, those glitches and everything else, you just have to breathe through it.
Mm.
Look for other ways to solve the problem. And then if you still can't solve it because, things are going crazy, then maybe you're not supposed to do it right now.
Right.
Walk away. Be prepared to walk away. Explain, sorry, I have to cancel. My car broke down. I've tried to get a mechanic out here. I tried to fix it myself. I'm running out of time. Uber won't be here in time. I'm going to have to reschedule.
Mm-hmm.
And let it go. I mean, people appreciate that honesty more so than you doing everything else and showing up an hour late. I mean, and not letting them know what's going on. And I think most people let folks know what's going on. But I mean, be transparent about what you've tried to do and it didn't work. And, got to let it go. Got to move on to something else. I think people appreciate that transparency because we have all experienced that. We've all experienced doing everything we can and it's still not working. And we're hitting our head against the brick wall. We get frustrated. We get angry. We get all in our feelings. And then we miss other stuff along the way during the course of our day because we're so upset about that appointment that we missed or that glitch in the process. I think it was day before yesterday. I just had to shut down everything because my computer wasn't working. And it wasn't my computer. It really wasn't my internet. This internet they're doing right now is some kind of an upgrade. It was just that wasn't supposed to be working.
There
So
you
I
go.
just shut it down and gave
Mhm.
it to God and went and read a book that had nothing to do with what I do for a living. you know?
You
Um,
went into a pocket of peace.
yes, yes,
Oh.
absolutely, absolutely. I talk about a lot of this in my course, my masterclass resilience. I don't know if you got the recording, Robin. I know you signed up for it, but I sent a recording of the first session. And then the second session, which was supposed to be on Wednesday, I had to reschedule because of all the technology issues I was
Mhm.
having. So I'm doing it again. If you click on my link tree, you'll see the masterclass. And I give a lot of tidbits on things to enhance your resilience. And I have an acronym for resilience, and I don't know if I can put my hands on it real quick, that I created. Because I like is it called acronyms? Yeah, acronyms.
Yeah.
Yeah, I like acronyms. I like, taking words and seeing, how we can reframe them to mean certain things for us. But resilience is, I don't see it in here. I know it's here somewhere, but Resilience is extremely important, and establishing peace is one way to enhance your resilience.
Okay.
In my master class, I really, really break it down. And also, you get a copy of the recording and some bonus information that I get. But I have the reason why I've been focusing on resilience so much, and how it feeds into reducing your stress and anxiety and trauma, is because of what I went through this past summer, with the trauma. And it's really interesting because I'm having more of a delayed impact now than I had those first 8 weeks or so. But I think it was because I was determined not to, I changed my mindset, and I was in a new
Yes.
environment. So it was easy to change my mindset. Being back home, I had to work a little harder to do it. But basically, resilience, R stands for reframe.
Okay.
Basically reframe what your perspective is about what you're going through. E is for energize. Learn how to boost your energy levels to get
Mm.
you through whatever you're doing. S is, of course, self-care. And that, of course, is important. Any kind of self-care will enhance your resilience. Exploring your inner strength, how to cultivate that inner strength and maintain a positive mindset, of course, is extremely important in resilience. L is just what I got through talking about, letting it go. Address the concept of letting it go and letting go of what no longer serves you. E
Yes.
is empower. You know, Begin to get those tools and techniques that can empower you to take more control of your response to stress and trauma. And N is nourish. I can't talk enough about the importance of making sure you're putting the right things in your body and taking care of your gut health. And finally, C is for connection. Finding your tribe and maintaining your social connections that can support you through whatever trauma or emotional unwellness you're going through. And finally, E is embracing, learning to embrace the change that is brought on sometimes
Mm.
by trauma and other emotional unwellness experiences, embracing that, finding out the key learnings of it, and ultimately enhancing your resilience. So I take each one of those letters there and I break it down in some three classes. So there's two more classes, one on September 6th and one on September 15th, I believe it is. No, I'm sorry, 13th, September 13th. And it's at 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. It's about an hour and 15 minutes. It's a really good presentation and really breaks things down in a way that you can understand it, but also gives you some actionable items and things that you can do. Practices, holistic practices that you can do to
Hmm.
help enhance your resiliency, get you through stressful times, anxious times, and also traumatic times. So I hope those of you who are listening to the replay will come and check it out. I think it's I think I did a good job of breaking things down. So
Oh, thank you so much. Yes, you did an excellent job, Lynnis. We we learned a lot today. Is there something that you wanted to add, Robin?
I just wanted to thank Lynnis for the list because I have 2 pages of notes.
oh
I saw
good.
you taking notes.
But I really, really like the take away the criticism of yourself and others. And the and others was an important addition for me
Hmm.
because because I can tend to be a little bit that way. And I appreciated that. I love the list. It's all very doable.
It's
Yes.
all very doable. And
You got to keep it top of mind.
yes, and you'll be getting the tapes, the other ones, because you signed up. But what's going to happen with all this is that eventually it's going to be a book,
Hmm.
and I'm definitely going to start my 5 networking group sometime in the month of September, and all these presentations and my podcasts and my bonus podcasts and all that stuff is going to be on Patreon. That's why I finally decided on for a membership platform is to
Okay.
put my video portion of my podcast and my bonus portion of my podcast, as well as my workshops and materials on Patreon. And for a very small monthly fee, you can have access to all of that and not miss it. Because when you're in the public group, it's great, but there's so many people in that group now. There's 21,700 people in that group, and
Hmm.
it's growing every day. So I thought, you know what? I want to still be able to speak to and share other stuff that's going on that I would like the Vibe community to know about and to actually see. So Patreon, hopefully, God willing, will be launching on the 15th of September.
Exciting.
Um, yeah, all things
Congratulations.
going. Yep, yep. All things falling together. It's funny too because in the midst of all of this, I have to tell you, talking about telling a different story. I've been up for 24 hours because my grandson is in the hospital again,
Oh,
and
Oh,
wait, we are waiting to hear the diagnosis and treatment and prognosis. Finally, did hear about 6 a.m. this morning. So, but rather than focus on that, I'm focusing on what's working. They did find what's going on. It's
okay.
doable. No more surgeries, and I don't
Thank
have to
you,
hop on a
Lord.
plane right away. I don't have to hop on a plane again until like the 12th. So
Hmm.
that's what I'm focusing on, and hopefully, like around 1 or 2 o'clock, I can get a nap in before my
yeah.
client.
Oh my goodness. Well, we wish you well, Lynnis. We want people to know how they can get in touch with you. So I'm going to put your LinkedIn page up here where they can see it. I also put the link in the chat. So when you get to this page, you know that you are on Lynnis's LinkedIn. And
Yes.
Lynnis, you said you have some things coming up for us.
Yeah, a couple of things. I have the Resilience Mastermind class. It starts again on September 6th at 4 p.m. And you can click on my link tree to sign up for that. And I
Mhm.
have a clubhouse room that's going to be going at 11:30 today. And we're going to be talking about what went well. What were your key
Okay.
learnings? What were your key learnings this summer? So we're going to be talking about that. And I have a new podcast that's dropping on September 1st with a wonderful lady by the name of Tracy Neely. It is a fantastic interview. It's going to be dropping on all your favorite listening platforms. So that's what's going on right now.
Wow.
Fantastic. When are you going to take that nap? But
Well, I was looking at my schedule and I have like a 30-minute break where I could at least take a power nap real
a
quick.
power
And
nap.
yeah, I have appointments all the way through 4 o'clock. So,
Oh my goodness. Well, Linus, we just really appreciate you. We thank you for sacrificing your time.
no
And we
problem.
declare that your internet will be back up and running
Thank you. In Jesus'
soon.
name. Thank you. I'm decreeing and declaring that too as
We
we
are in
speak.
agreement with you. Okay. So, guys, if you're looking to get in touch with Linus, we have her link tree here and on the chat. You can either take a screenshot or you can go into the actual comments and find the link and follow through. She has a number of opportunities there for you to grow and do some personal development and to find your pocket of peace. So with
Fantastic.
that, Linus, we're gonna let you go.
Okay.
Is there anything you wanted to say to Linus before I take her off of this screen, Robin? I'm just like, I know you want to say something.
Well, I just wanted to say that we get Lynnis back next week again. So she's on the
Oh,
schedule for next week. So excited we can hear more of this or we can
yes.
hear something new. So thank you so
You'll
much,
be hearing
Lynnis, for
something new. We're going to be talking about food combinations.
Oh,
I think we need to talk a lot more about nutrition. Somehow I feel
Yeah.
like nutrition is um yeah, it's
it's
so
on your
everything
mind, huh?
in this. I
Yeah,
mean,
we'll be talking
everything
about.
is
I'm going to dispel some myths about some things. So
good.
Mhm.
Good.
things that
Okay.
that we think are helping in terms of like maybe losing or dropping and wanted pounds and inches, and it's just the opposite. It's
Mm,
not really helping. So
Yeah.
okay.
Great. Excellent.
That's good to know.
Okay. We'll see
okay.
you next week then. Thank you, Lynn.
Thank you. Bye
Bye bye,
bye.
Linus. Thank
Bye.
you so much. Okie dokie. Wow. It's always a winner to have Linus in the studio, isn't it?
Absolutely. We
Ah,
have such great coaches. It's amazing. We're very blessed.
we really are. Let me stop this, but I just want to say thank you so much, Robin, for the time you take to research these fabulous guests for your show, Happy Healthy Habits with Robin Shimizu. Oh my goodness. Ah, I just want to take this time to say thank you. We
You're
appreciate all you
welcome.
do.
It's my pleasure.
I want to remind everybody that if you want to become a part of the BizChicks community, you can do so by simply texting Biz to 33777, or you can join us through the bizchicks.net website. In addition to that, we want to invite you out to First Mondays. This First Monday is coming up next week, and we look forward to seeing you there. You can get your ticket over on Eventbrite. You can come in virtually, or you can come in virtually on our YouTube channel, or you could meet us over there. We'd love to shake your hand and find out what it is you do and share it with our community. So our meetup is at 5:30 at Seasons 52 at the Ardens Fair Mall. I know it's a holiday, but we'll be there
That's right.
celebrating.
Yeah.
So we look forward to seeing you. And we want to remind you it's okay to make money in your business. So if you need some help, call BizChicks because we're here taking the hassle out of your hustle. Have a great day. Bye bye, everyone. Bye bye, Robin.
Bye.